Slava Ukrainian.
Героям слава!
I had a choice today, quite a difficult decision to make, whether to come here to our Maidan here, or to attend the Panikhida, the memorial for Victoria Amelina. I'm sure all of you know, and I certainly spoke about her last week. She was in the pizza restaurant in Kramatorsk with a group of writers from Colombia, and she sustained catastrophic injuries in that restaurant, and it certainly looks as though the restaurant was targeted because it was a well-known haunt for writers, creatives, etc. Sadly, when I was proud to be part of the Ukraine group at Pride, on Saturday she died. Her heart stopped. She was an amazing bright light of Ukrainian literature, Ukrainian courage, Ukrainian identity, and she achieved more in her 37 years than many of us do in an entire lifetime. She had worked on the war diary of Volodymyr Vakulenko, who was one of the others murdered by the Russian terrorist regime. He had buried his diary in the garden, and it was given to Victoria by Volodymyr's father. She died, I was told she died on his birthday. I need to check that that's the case, but if that's the case, I feel they've been reunited. I really do. I'm going to read from one of the many tributes to her that has come out online from all over the world. Victoria Amelina was a Ukrainian novelist, poet, and public intellectual. When Russia launched its full-scale invasion of her country in 2022, she set aside most of her writing to document and research war crimes. Amelina understood the risks she ran with this work, both as a citizen who chose to stay in her country during war, and as a writer facing an invading army bent on destroying Ukrainian national identity. She moved her son, by the way, she leaves an 11-year-old son behind. She moved her son to safety in Poland, but kept returning herself. When Kyiv came under bombardment in early summer, she watched the explosions from her apartment and wrote, "The war is when you can no longer follow all news and cry about all neighbors who died, instead of you, a couple of miles away. Still, I want to not forget to learn the names." So she died on the 1st of July. 2 weeks before she died, she wrote about a painter, Polina Raiko, whose work had been largely obliterated in the floods unleashed by the collapse of the Kakhovka Dam. She said, "Art lives as long as the world sees it." This is a poem that she wrote about a crow. I was lucky enough to be with Olga over there at an event in London with Victoria, and this poem was read, and the translator, William Blacker, he translated it on the hoof, as it were, and it's now become one of the major tributes to her. So I thought, given that I heard it first, sort of thing, I would read it to you. It's a very emotional poem. Poem about a crow. In a barren springtime field stands a woman dressed in black, crying her sisters' names like a bird in the empty sky. She'll cry them all out of herself. The one that flew away too soon, the one that had begged to die, the one that couldn't stop death, the one that has not stopped waiting, the one that has not stopped believing, the one that still grieves in silence. She'll cry them all into the ground as though sowing the field with pain. And from pain and the names of women, her new sisters will grow from the earth and again will sing joyfully of life. But what about her, the crow? She will stay in this field forever, because only this cry of hers holds all those swallows in the air. Do you hear how she calls each one by her name? None of us are going to forget the name Victoria Amelina. We are going to ensure that the bright light that shone when she did her work remains lit. We know that there is a history of Russia trying to suppress Ukrainian identity, Ukrainian culture, Ukrainian language. It happened in the 1920s and 30s when the writers, actors, dramatists, playwrights, at least 300 of them were shot under Stalin by the Soviet regime. My thought is that the Soviet Union was not a geographical or political entity. It was a state of mind. And in that sense, the Soviet Union has never gone from Russia, because there may have been a veneer of something different, even talking about perestroika and glasnost, etc. But they were words. They were definitely words, because this is the very same frame of mind that tried to stamp out Ukrainian culture and identity in the 20s and 30s. It is happening again, and there will be, and there is already happening, another Ukrainian renaissance. This week they may execute, they may kill like they did, or force, such as Khwilavoi, who took his own life. We will ensure that this renaissance will continue, and we will do it in their name, in the name of people like Victoria, who gave her life for the future of each and every person from Ukraine right now. And I'm proud to have met her, and I'm proud to stand here with all of you. Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава! Thank you, Alice.
Thank you very much.